Hello. I'm so thankful to be able to come on tonight. Valerie's not able to make it today. She got to have a really exciting day, and I feel like she'll have a really great time next week when she comes. We're talking about doing possibly covering another show where we're going to address, hi, everybody, hi, where we're going to address the very beautiful new moon that is coming up. She will want to delve into it very, very deeply. So I'm going to leave that for next week. I do thank you all for coming, and I want to acknowledge just a teensy weensy bit. I thank the Holy Spirit, and I do also want to thank and praise Jesus. He's given a lot of insight here lately. I want to give us a heads up about a really lovely transit that is coming tomorrow, and I just have to call it up so I can refresh what's so exciting to me. We've got a beautiful trine coming from the Sun to Chiron tomorrow. And these are both in fire signs. And the reason I'm acknowledging this is a lot of what we all talk about here is healing. A lot of what we are wanting to find in our journey, in our path, is a story of how we have surpassed the limitations of a wound that has been present in us for a long time. And we all have our distinct, unique experience with this. But Chiron, he stands for becoming the healer where we were wounded. And we really want to notice that with the sun in Sagittarius, the sign of the philosopher, of truth seeking, of guiding yourself to a kind of higher mind. And then we've got Chiron over here, let me call it up again. Chiron's in Aries, so a sort of childlike boldness, a determination. I can take on anything I really, really feel the desire to take on. So we have this trine, which is a harmonious blending of these two energies coming tomorrow. And I want to put it in our hearts and in our minds and in our awareness in our souls that we can understand this is a really great opportunity for us to address things, clear the air, get some concerns that have left us hanging in the past resolved, and finally see maybe the nicest way that we can take care of something. So that address, there's always a lot more to say about astrology. Just a really quick survey to see if there's something of major import to address right away. Right at this moment, I'll tell y'all we've got the moon in a trine to Pluto. This is pretty cool. The moon in a trine to Pluto is talking to us about we have an opportunity to delve deeply into our emotions, but in a mental way, because they're making this aspect from air signs, Libra and Aquarius. So it's a different energy than the Sagittarius trine we've got tomorrow. This is a little bit more along the lines of thinking our way through our feelings. So I hope that we get to take advantage in a best way of this aspect that's taking place as we speak. And anything else a lot always jumps out. There's a little hint that coming up in the next couple few days, there may be an instinct to drive ourselves into a frenzy of expressing things, wanting to make something occur, and we'll want to let ourselves kind of rest with our feelings and our thinking. We do have the capacity to enjoy solving something that's been troubling us, but there is something coming up which is along the lines of less clarity for action, more clarity in the conscious awareness of what we want to do. It's a good time to dream up the action a little bit better than to launch into it, but care about it as we've got some nice, following these next few days, we've got some nice reasons to be thankful for what we're able to accomplish and the growth we're able to achieve. And I really thank you all for coming and indulging me with a little astrologies to start things off. It is still one of my happy places to enjoy with people. So when we have questions, do me a favor, folks, put them in all caps. That way I can make sure to notice them. I see yours, Carl. And while we're getting any questions out there, I see Leah, you're so nice. She says, welcome to Fearless Friday. And please like and comment, and thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me see if we got any other questions right now to Star. And then I get to say hi to everybody. I got yours, Craig. Thank you. All right, let me start saying hi. Hi, I'm going to go up from the bottom right now. Hi, Gina. Hi, Craig. Hi, Carl. Hi, Brina. Hello, Leah. Look at y'all. Thank you so much for being here. Hey, Liz. Good to see you, girl. Good to see all of you. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate y'all coming up. Okay, we got that. I remember we looked a little bit, CJ, about that cross. Did it happen again, CJ? I remember that was a pretty interesting, and Leah, I got your question too, hon. That was a pretty interesting topic. Afterwards, after we talked about it, Valerie and I exchanged a few words about that, and we were saying, you know what? It seems like how things are feeling is we might be getting a little bit more into the vibration of the, you might call it the woo-woo, where we're actually having the woo-woo gets steadily more consciously on purpose and deserving to be seen as, okay, this is actually an aspect of reality now. We don't, you said never mind on that one? Okay, let me go back and unstar it. That was a really, really cool one, though. I got such chills about that. And okay, we want the message from Team or Holy Spirit, Leah. I see that. And okay, Liz and all, I've got your question. I've already got, I hope I can tell you that I feel something starting on that question, Liz. Gina, thank you for your question. And Brina. Christmas cat. That's just the sweetest thought already. Okay. Maybe it's just coming back around me to sit on my lap. Will I talk with her and tell her that I only want to help her? Was it that she didn't want to go to the vet, Brina? Oh, she was feral and you tried to take her 2 weeks ago. I see. You know what? I think the Holy Spirit, if it's okay with everyone, I want to try to help right now. I'd like to give it a real honest, not try. I'd like to give it a successful help. So let's have a word. I ask the Holy Spirit to guide. I'm going to ask for a sweet feeling to start with. I want that sweet feeling in charge as I interact with Ava. Interact with Ava's, I don't know exactly where I want to call it, Ava's spiritual essence. There is a warmth in the heart. It's a little bit of excitement. All right, Ava. I thank you, Holy Spirit. Ava is now aware that we have a little bit to say. I don't know why. She's giving me a feeling like happy feet. A little bit of happy feet. A little purring. I really want to pet her. Letting her know in my mind. Our heart is saying we are scared because we on purpose decided we wanted to live like a wild kitty. Yet again, we're understanding there are benefits to being a friend kitty. We're having a little turmoil in our sweet soul. We're asking us, Ava, to trust that God blesses Ava with the best, caringest home, the best, caringest, most loving soul. And Ava will feel blessed to trust this soul and to hear this soul asking to help. I do notice Ava is that word feral. She's asking something about the word feral. I thank the Holy Spirit. It's that we want to change the mindset from feral to we were unhoused. We were unhoused. We want to change the mindset a little bit. We want to say we were unhoused. We had a little bit of a tumultuous time, childhood. We had a little bit of a tumultuous time. We were hoping we'd find someone to help us, and we found her. And we want her to notice that it's okay to feel safe. Now, the instructions are in Ava to feel somewhat more sincerely aware that it is a great feeling to go where Brina wants Ava to be with her. She said something towards treats, and I feel like that's not a bad thought ever. So she's feeling like treats are a really big encouragement, a really good encouragement. And she's giving a little bit of a hint that she's going to be somewhat more agreeable. And she's trying to do a little bit of a wild face again. And she's saying something about, I want to remember that F word, but we're going to say unhoused. And after a while, we can, remind her that it was okay to have been a wild child, but she'll be really, really content having a different kind of lifestyle. So we thank the Holy Spirit, and I ask Ava's soul to hear me. I put awareness of Ava being more concerned with giving Brina a little bit of comfort about Ava's happiness. Okay, and all right, I think, hold on. She's giving me a hint that she doesn't really understand, but she will accept that there is trust and praise and caring and cuddles. And there was a little hesitation on cuddles, but it's in there somewhere. It might develop more. And the treats is the really, we want treats. That's the favorite thing. I want to say thank you. And I thank the Holy Spirit. And I guess I'll say thank you, Brina, for that wonderful question. I love animals. I love being able to visit with animals here, anywhere that I can. So let me go and manage how I'm doing all these questions. Hold on. Okay. Now, wait, I already did that. I can undo. Did I undo that wrong? She sits with you later at night to cuddles. I think she must be a really, really dear one. I think she must be a really dear one. Okay. All right. Now, let me go back and make sure I gotta see if I missed any questions. Got that. Hi, Bora. Now it's a party. Manny meowing so loud. Carl, I have starred that question. Let me see how I can do something about that in just a moment. I saw the question about Manny. I tell you what, I asked the Holy Spirit to guide. We have to feel a little bit of what he's experiencing in order to notice what we're able to help with on that. So I feel like what I need to start with is asking that Manny give me a sense of the feelings of what he's experiencing. I thank you, Holy Spirit. I ask the Holy Spirit for the words to guide with. He's belonging to a care idea that he's not receiving yet. He's not unaware that you want it different and you want it better. If you could put in your understanding and your imagination, in your mind, that he's a little bit like a sweet child who is not noticing that he can care about it coming sometime later. He's so worried and anxious and struggling with the idea of it being today. He wants it today. So I am aware he's not going to be as sweet about things, and that he's not asking us to help make him quiet. He's asking that we can see how to help get him a happier feeling about his environment. Thank you, Holy Spirit. He wants us to notice what we can offer about that. And I'd like to see it as well. I see a cage and I see a door opening. I see a feeling of freedom. I see a liking of the idea of letting him be. I notice that you feel a responsibility and a trust that you care for these animals, and it is entirely up to you how they live. He's wanting another idea. His heart is saying, I like you, but I like freedom. And he's asking if there can have a freedom today. He's asking, can I have today? He's almost agreeing to something. He's almost agreeing that if he gets some of this freedom, I know, Carl, I know you're real stressed out about it too, buddy. I know. Your neighbors are going to wake up. Has he ever got a way to come out, Carl? He's really wanting to be so much outside. He's saying, let me out, out, out. Like, he's not saying it with a peaceful idea. He's wanting no one else to help him but a door opening. It's like he says, I'll find my way if I'm free. And he doesn't want us to notice it like it's a sad thing. He wants it a little clearer. He's giving this understanding he can catch food. He can creep around and catch food. He feels like he can. It's not that we're saying as much about that as you want. It's that we're receiving a blessing of insight about him, how he sees it. And I do notice that it's not as simple as we can tell him, okay, be quiet, as if he doesn't have a reason to be expressing himself. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Only on a leash. You don't want him to get run over by a car. Well, have it in your heart then. I'll share something about letting it be that we allow the Holy Spirit to guide us. It is hard to notice how much we feel like we have to control. When we feel like we have to control it, often enough is coming from a level of our conscious awareness that is not really in alignment with the divinity, with our upper aspects. And the highest good is always going to be give the best care we're able to provide. When we can't provide it, give away that we're trying to provide for. If we can't do it, don't hold on to it. I know that it's hard to hear that, but I want you to notice that although I love that you care about these animals so well, I want you to notice that you also love the idea that you can give them a better life than you have available today. And what you want to do is think a little bit more about the best blessing you can provide them today. And we do notice that it's not easy to let somebody go. But when you have this fear that is caused by someone who's expressing what they want in the only way they can, and you're worried that it could really hurt the situation any other way, it's hard to say it, girl, but I thank the Holy Spirit. He would like to be free more than he would want to be remaining waiting for a happening that we're not quite aware of how quickly it does happen. And I wish I did have a prospect for you of that change that you're waiting for happening, like that. I do notice that you've been having a really hard time and grasping at the thought, grasping at a hope over and over again. We've tried a little noticing, I don't want to use the word tried, we've given the encouragement to give the understanding to you of another way of viewing what is possible. There are several ways that we can talk about it. It is not simple to tell you this, but the moment you take him out, he wants back in. I am aware he needs to be out, and it needs to be that the more he can get out, the better. If you can take him out and make it a point to take him a lot of times out, I feel like you can calm him. He won't do it without it being that he wants you to notice that he really does choose to live with you, unless he cannot tolerate the environment that you're in. I do know it's hard. I do know it's hard. I just want you to trust that it helps a lot to notice he is struggling to find a peace. He is desperately asking for something that it's hard to give him right now. And when you can give it to him, do your very, very best, do your utmost. It's what will help. He won't let us tell him a lot more than we're hoping it gets better here soon. And I noticed that as far as his awareness goes, he did actually perk up at that. I asked the Holy Spirit to guide. All right, I'm holding him in my mind. I've got him in my arms right now. He's sort of burrowing in a little bit. He's got kind of a sweet thought, a sweet heart. He is sweet. He's like a baby. He's really emotional now. He's saying, help you see. I can tell you this, any way that you can, Carl. If it's possible to come up with a way to understand what it takes to get your own place that is really well grounded, and it's not always easy to see how something like that can happen, but we want you to notice that if you are able to look at it as, I have that feeling awareness of the big stake, how it happens, yet I can't delay finding an avenue to provide this friend of mine a home I feel better about. If he could care enough to let that much feeling come through, because a moment ago that feeling was really, really powerful, he is caring about you. He is caring a lot, yet he isn't wanting to stay in the cage. And it really comes down to, what can you find? What can you conceive of that changes their circumstances without denying any possibility of that big stake happening? You may want to notice you can locate a very different avenue to provide enough funds to secure a new location, a new home. We want you to notice that he is a caring being. He is a caring animal. He's a caring soul. He's really got a lot of feelings, a lot of heart, and he just wants to see a change happen. If you want to imagine him like he's one of your guides, when he is crying out, when he is refusing to be silent, that is one of your guides refusing to be silent and saying, we need something to happen. We need it to happen. Cast about and find it. Determine for yourself how it can happen, how it can be that this change can be made. You may want to talk to a lot more people. You may want to locate somebody who wants someone to do housework in exchange for room and board, or room at least. You may want to do a lot more reaching out across the Gulf and reaching out to people that have maybe become a little bit estranged. I want you to notice that it is important to notice him like he is a really important person telling you, this is my heart. I will not be silent. I need you to hear me. And notice it's simply put a good idea to heed what he's asking for. It'll better your life as well as his. Thank you, Carl, for your question. And I thank the Holy Spirit. Now we got a few more questions, and I'm going to go through again in a minute and see if I have found everybody. I hope I'm not losing questions by mistake here, y'all. I'm still not quite as skilled at this as some people. Let's see, Craig. There we go. Hi, Craig. So Craig is asking for a general reading or advice for the rest of December and January. I ask the Holy Spirit to guide. Okay. Someone just said, maybe you want to mention me less right now, and I don't think she means that, but she did She was kind of suggesting something like, well, if I'm not front and center, that's okay. That's interesting. All right, we're here to focus now. I thank the Holy Spirit. I want to see something a little bit better than that. All right. I'm going to ask somebody who is actually kind of interfering right now. May I ask why we're interfering a little bit? I'm having to give somebody a hug in my heart. Hold on. Okay. Okay. I feel like I had to acknowledge a certain someone. She was not asking that you be brought into a place where you're thinking only of her. She was asking that I acknowledge her because I'm accustomed to reading along the lines of she's giving some kind of insight or input. And she was basically asking me to acknowledge her, thank her for her presence. And then she was saying, okay, now you can look at what he's looking at. And so now I'm going to do that. And we're looking at a calendar. She's tapping a calendar page. And she's tapping something towards, I thank you, Holy Spirit. It's a little bit towards the like 18th or 19th of December. She's wanting to say something towards that. Are you? Yes. Okay. I see a star. I see a star like it's going up on a tree. I see the tree. She's shaking the tree. Little things are falling off of it, and she's liking that. I think there's something about noticing when little things fall off the tree that means something, and it's like a smiling thing. I maybe should ask, do you have a tree up, Craig? I'm not sure what to say if you don't. There's this really fun image of the shaking of the tree and the stuff falling down. All right, final way to look at this. I'm kind of coming around. We're doing a little swirly move. We're coming around. You have a Christmas tree. Okay, that Clara told you. Okay. Well, we want to notice why we're shaking it and shaking ornaments off. She's shaking her head. She's saying it's not really less important than you think, but I've already said all I can say about that. It's a smiling thing when ornaments fall down or when whatever falls off the tree. It's a smiling thing. Now we've kind of circled around the tree and we're looking from the inside out the door. And it feels like likely a front door. And we're looking out the door and we're seeing a car out there. And it feels like it might be the one that you like to ride in as Clara is with you. And I'm seeing her like looking at it and sort of, what are we doing? She's gesturing. She's looking kind of around inside. She's shaking her head. She's pointing back out to the car. She's doing this. I think she's saying take a drive somewhere around the 18th or somewhere in the latter part of December. We're already at the 12th, so we're not talking that far away. Take a drive. Feel free. There's a feeling of wind in your hair. There's some big emotion. It's like a healing feeling. It's like a cleansing, a heartfelt pouring of feeling. She wanted it purple and white. There's something about a journey. It doesn't feel like a long notice. You don't have to make it like a planned big trip. I don't feel like it has to be that. I don't know if it does have to be that. I'm not getting any indication about that, but I am getting a feeling of getting out of the house, going on this ride, or getting out on a drive for some reason that matters for allowing a lot of emotion to process Be expressed, be experienced, and be expressed. I don't know why it's important, but it seems it was a really strong and really, honestly, very healthy feeling. And I don't want to put anything else in your mind about it. Um, I want to say that it felt like an on purpose kind of intention to help you experience some feeling that you need to experience. I shouldn't say need, that you will benefit from experiencing. You'll be blessed by it, brother. And I want to thank you for asking. I don't know, are we looking ahead to January as well? She's sort of doing her like a big arms around, and she's doing like this, like kind of a rocking hug kind of feeling. And she's saying, January thing will come up. We'll talk about it in a little while. Right now, let's do this December thing. And we thank you for your presence here, Craig. I don't know that I've got more coming on that, so I'll give you what I've got there. Thank you for your question, and kind of keep an eye for whatever is coming off the tree. So, hi, Polly. Anybody else coming in? Let's see. Trying to get back. I thank the Holy Spirit. I'm trying to catch up with these here. This is about the car. Purple, she told you, was in your aura color. Safe and comforting. And white. I got your question, Polly. Craig, I think a lot of people would enjoy spending Christmas with you. I think you're a fun person. Mostly TCM movies all day. Love it. Sounds like fun, Craig. All right, I'm moving on to Leah. Leah, hi. Leah says, may I have a message from my team? I'm trying to take personal responsibility. And I noticed you also put in there, or from the Holy Spirit. You had that in there as well. There's something about personal responsibility. I remember you came up in my mind to do with that not very long ago. It was maybe because you had sent me an email that mentioned something about a clearing, it was to do with clearing out some of the things you don't need and preparing for winter. And I remember you made a note in there to do with kind of taking accountability, responsibility for oneself. And girl, that inspired me. That got me. I mean, I'm not saying I achieved a whole lot on it. I'm not all that good at doing that seasonal shifting. But it was on my mind for a good long while. It stuck with me. So I felt like there was kind of a little note that went up in my mind. Leah, responsibility. She's got a good idea. So I'm going to go into the reading spirit now. I thank the Holy Spirit. And I thank Jesus for assembling the guide team. Oh my, they're so cute. I'm seeing a little circle of team. They're presenting themselves in almost like not exactly child forms, but kind of like an expression that feels somewhat childlike. So picture kind of child persons who are being in a circle, and they're looking at each other like we're doing this responsibility thing. Okay. I guess we're going to do this a little bit like a responsibility that we want to do with child spirit. So how we're going to have to do that, we're going to have to remember that child spirit actually loves playing a little bit of grown up, as long as they think it's like a fun idea to play grown up. So we want to care about this a lot. We want to remember that it's okay to play responsible grown up with the child spirit. In a different way to put it is they want you to feel a little bit less like it's an onerous thing to do responsibility. They want it to seem more like a kid excited that they get the job of, I ask the Holy Spirit to guide, feeding the animals, uh, taking out trash, like it's my adventure. I'm doing something responsible. I didn't get to do this before. I never got to do this before. It really does have a different energy, a different quality. if you kind of give yourself the mindset, I didn't get to do this until I got big enough. Now I'm big enough and I get to do it. And I noticed that how these guides are arranged, they're in a circle. They almost look like they're in like a sacred circle. Um, they're not, how do I put it? They're not ostentatious, and they're not presuming to like let me notice what it is they're doing. I can see that they're doing something. They're maybe making a decision easier to make. I saw one give a nod. I think he's the leader. I think he's kind of he's doing a little shy head shake. He's not the leader, but he seems to have some sense of purpose in expressing. He's giving an indication that they are doing something to make a decision easier. They're letting it be that, oh, they're all doing this. They're all doing this. They're raising up their hands like they're lifting higher vibrational energy. They're letting us see it like this. You get to be childlike with a higher vibration. It means that you essentially allow yourself to tune out the stuff that seems boring, and you get to handle that like it's not even happening. It's not even happening, and yet it is being handled. It's sort of like having a feeling of, I didn't notice I came all the way over here. I don't remember all the steps between, that happened to get me here, and yet here I am. And I feel like they want to notice you noticing that experience. So truly accept that you're changing in a significant way. The fashion by which you're changing is coming up in your in your spiritual essence. You're already aware you have a higher self. Now just go up a little bit and come a lot closer, a little bit closer to where your higher self is actually residing. And notice it like you're just noticing yourself a little bit more in a happy, peaceful way. It doesn't have to be an intense experience. It can be almost casual. Like I just notice myself a little bit more up here. And I don't fear being up here. And I don't notice a whole lot of what was dragging me down anymore. It just isn't as interesting to pay attention to that kind of stuff. I notice what I like to see and what I don't like to see, but I know I need to get accomplished. I just notice it gets accomplished without me having to think about it. I feel like that's the easiest way to resolve it. And I noticed this comment you just made. I see you there, Vivian. Let me star you real quick before I forget. Hold on. There we go. Or is it Viviani? I got to remember how it's pronounced. Okay. And then Leah also says, I got to get back to creating. I do notice that as we are aware of our higher self, our upper vibration, what we're really channeling at that point is somewhat less, the right word is colored by the world around us. And really, it resonates at a frequency that's more like original. And the creation tends to flow in a way that feels a little endearing to the person you really are. It doesn't have to feel like you're worried about how anyone else will take it. It feels reassuringly present. Yourself feels reassuringly present as you create. So do notice that, like, I have to go up a little bit more in my vibration. And then maybe notice if you're having a moment where you're like, I'm doing a responsibility thing. Oh, it's so annoying. Just think, I'm just going to raise my vibration. Don't even ask how. Say, thanks, Holy Spirit, for helping me raise my vibration. And then notice what happens. Notice what occurs. It'll be cool. All right. Everyone, I'm going to go with Viviani. I hope that's the right way to say it because that's what everybody says. So I hope it's the right way to say it. All right. Now we're going to listen off. Liz and Oz says, not understanding my high level of anxiety. What says Holy Spirit? Ask the Holy Spirit to guide. I just felt a little hint of it right away. I think you're close in the mind of God. I'm noticing I have this image of a creative person It's you. It's who you are. I'm noticing it's like we're stationary in the torso, and then the arms are out doing something very structured, concentrating, doing something. I don't understand this. I'm just relaying what I get right now. Seeing a real focused eye, major sense of comfort, comforting. A caring idea is you get to handle something that involves, I thank you, Holy Spirit. It gives you the right idea. Hold on. Jumble. Hold on. You're caring about something very much. It's something that needs an accomplishment from you to make it well. It's about taking your hands and making them work out something. It's a diligent, focused activity. I don't know why I want to use a different word than that. Activity is fine. It's a good enough word. It's using your mind, not as much as your hands on. That's what we're trying to show. Hands on. Getting hands on about an area that has been of a question to you. And we like that we're noticing it now a little better. I still see you right now with that very focused attention on the hands and the arms, the hands and the arms. I've got something like a screen on the right side. I don't understand what the purpose is. It's like you're not looking at it. You're looking away, not away from it, but you're ignoring it. It's beside you and you're ignoring it. I have to understand this a little better. It comes like you need to do something. It wants to be done. It wants to be accomplished by you. It will take a diligent, focused effort. You're reaching out and getting involved, carefully or not, is how you make this change. It will strain you not. It will strain you not. It will give you a hand feeling on purpose, accomplishing a dream, a dear feeling, and allowing you to keep from feeling like that frustrated anticipation that almost feels the same as anxiety. We care enough to remind you that you have gifts. You have a gift in your voice. You have a gift in your compassion. You have a gift beyond that, that it's hard to remain in that vibration, but you do have a conscious understanding of an intuitive gift that you can provide to others. And I wonder if you wouldn't consider, Liz, allowing yourself to be visiting, even on my show or any of us, to allow to show yourself that you can accomplish something that maybe you were thinking in the mind of student or thinking in the mind of I have more lessons to take in, and maybe what you are asking could be arranged if you want to think about it just a little bit. I don't know why that came to mind all of a sudden, but it did. And I want to mention that I keep hearing a reminder about your voice, like your speaking voice, and there's something to do with that. And I care only a little bit more about that than you think I do. I really do think there is something more important in your expression than you're noticing yet. And I want to mention it because I feel like there's a purpose in churning until we find where we want to put that energy. So ask yourself, there's one way you can do it. I'd like you to go in a simple mindset right now. If you can, if you're comfortable enough, kind of close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths, just nice, slow, deep breaths. As you're doing this, maybe just notice how that feeling is somewhere inside of you. Notice where that feeling is, and then ask it to let you notice what it feels like. If it's something that is like a jarring, jittery feeling, if it's something that is like a worried feeling, If it's something that is wanting to express itself, wanting to be talked with, and I notice that why I'm addressing it like this is I'd like you to remember how easy it is to see within who you are and to notice what you really are asking of yourself without any fear about it. See it like you can actually find where it's located inside of your body, inside of your form, and then ask it to just be an explanation for itself. I don't want to examine it too much more because I feel like the indication I was feeling most is to do with getting involved, hands on, involved. And I feel like some of it might be a motivation to keep you restless before you determine, until you determine, examine a way that you can jump in and take action and make your voice heard. And I don't know if that's the entire story of it or if the voice heard part is an add-on. I do know there's something about action and hands-on. And I thank the Holy Spirit. We're going to let it be with that right now. That's how much I've got clear enough to express. So I've got your question there. I think it's Pram. P.S. I think that's Pram. So I've got your question starred. And now let me go to Gina. Gina, hi. Uh-oh, I meant to show that. There we go. Gina says, is it in my highest good to consider purchasing a small van to travel? I asked the Holy Spirit to guide, and I thank the Holy Spirit so much. Is it in Gina's highest good? First, I'm going to do a little blessing. Thank you, Holy Spirit, God, and Jesus, for helping this pendulum provide truth and accuracy in the interest of answering this question fruitfully and well. And I endeavor to clear my mind any amount that I need to. Is it in Gina's highest good to consider purchasing a small van to travel? Yes. Spam. Yes. All right. And I guess so. There we go. Thank you for the simple yes or no question. I didn't have, do I have anything to add to that? I think that was great. Just notice that you want to look into it with the mindset of if it happens to be the right thing, I'm going to notice it. I'm going to feel like that's easy and I'm going to accomplish it like it's no big deal. It's going to be a handful of things to travel with. And ooh, we feel like there's something kind of fun about that. Oh, I like that feeling. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you find a great one and you enjoy it. All right. And am I missing? Let me see. We've got. There we go. Thanks for coming back with that, Liz. Liz, I know that you are more aware of how much you are choosing to remain aware of accomplishing something significant for your spirit. Some of us are a little like, I care less. I just want to get an understanding of what this life is for, do my business and get through it. Some of us notice, I thank the Holy Spirit. The better way to put it is I feel like you're particularly keyed into a notice that you have something great you want to give. I don't notice that everybody feels that way, but those who do, sometimes it really takes giving ourselves more of an experience of, I have to almost have a crisis level feeling to make it happen, in that we know it's going to take something, a huge feeling. So I don't mean that you have something ahead to be scared about. I mean, it may be like you want to notice it as, I could accomplish this and let myself feel like this is my whole purpose, or I can find out that this is what I've been waiting for. And it really helps me to notice that I get to enjoy and savor doing this. And I feel like that's a good idea to keep in your heart. There are some ways we can look at it that are very empowering and inspiring and helpful. So I hope I said that right. All right. Jana, about the van. Yeah, you know what? I don't know what it was exactly, but I was getting a kick out of the feeling. I was getting a kick out of what that would. I don't know. It's. I'm goofy enough to tell you, it felt like kid excited about going camping. It was wow feeling. So fun. All right. Just if you have to get it soon, you're in no issue at all. We don't have Mercury retrograde again for a little while. So Viviani, may I have a message from Spirit Team? I thank the Holy Spirit. I ask the Holy Spirit to guide. If Jesus would like to assemble the guide team, I do always appreciate it. I thank him. I am right now understanding something. I'm seeing one link of a chain, one single link. Why? Ooh, somebody's materializing. Somebody's kind of seeming to appear out of a mist. Ah, I get the point. Thank the Holy Spirit. I thank the Holy Spirit. It's a mist link. Aha, aha. Okay, now there's a sort of form making this happen, but they're not trying to draw attention to them, the guide or the being. They're just showing what's happening. They're taking that mist link, they're bringing it back, and they're connecting it to a chain of experience. They're connecting it to something behind, and then now they're looking out. They're looking like towards the future ahead, and they're looking out, and they're saying there's a little bit of a reach, and we're going to grab hold of this thing out here, and we're going to pull it in, and we're going to make that connection. So we care enough to simplify it, and not simplify, but just, I hope this clarifies something from the past. There was a missed link about the journey that you're actually going to want to engage in the very best, most happiest way. And we want to find that missing link, which will be an experience you have to have. Okay? And then you connect it to the future. After you connect it to the past, you tie it to the past. You say, thank you for clarifying, for bringing that together, this experience I have to have that relates to the past. And then I get a big nice reach that I grasp. I reach and I grasp. It's not beyond. Reach and I grasp, and then I draw it and I put it together, and I, being you, am on that road then that I really do enjoy. Okay, I'm glad you understand the message. It felt nice. So thank you, Viviani. All right, we're going to CEV12. The question, if my guides, thank you. I did see that. I do want to mention all y'all real quick. I sometimes don't notice comments. I don't use this YouTube account to explore YouTube very much. I really mostly just come on once a week. And then I notice comments every now and then, and I feel bad because I haven't answered them. But I thank you guys so much for commenting, because it really does, I think, help somehow. And the algorithm people always talk about that I don't understand whatsoever. I thank you guys so much, and I apologize if I miss questions. I do not want to. I do not intend to. I will do my best to make a mission of noticing comments and responding. This was a comment, and that's why I'm excited to see it now. So CEV12 says, if my guides are coming from a separate race, does that mean they're a different human race, a different species, or otherworldly? And does that mean I'm one of them? We have a lot we could say about it, just rambling from information I've gleaned, but I'm going to ask the Holy Spirit in the highest good of all, how to share this with CV12 and all who are present, all who are hearing us. If we know who they are, we a lot of times become engaged with how their story went. When we engage with how their story went, we're letting them serve our interests less. We're actually kind of engaging with socializing almost with who they were. We wanted to notice it, like, don't try to understand too well about what their history is. He, God, Jesus, He is giving, don't care about it very much. You can care enough to get a little bit of a kick out of noticing we're talking about beings that would probably be referred, that are definitely called, my lingo is kin from a distant part of the world, but the world in this context doesn't mean Earth, it means all that is. So they're actually from, how I'd put it, is a neighborhood that takes place in a different planet, and it actually is even more further than you might think. It's kind of a big deal far away, but they've spread out vastly, and they've kind of traveled the galaxy. Thank the Holy Spirit. We're just saying galaxy. They've traveled the galaxy. They've had a lot of connections made throughout time and space, and they've become aware of a different aspect of, how do we put it, dimensional existence that sometimes becomes quite heady in the headspace and is not always as feeling. So we like to notice their assistance comes in with a feeling of, we on purpose guide you smartly. We guide you well. We don't notice ourselves engaging in a tremendous emotional feeling way unless we find it serves the best interest of the being we're serving, the soul that we're serving. They want us to notice it like that. Now, we could also, and I asked the Holy Spirit God, do you come from the same race as is helping you there? No. Are you from, can we ask that question? Yes. Is CEV12, did CEV12 soul originate on Earth? No. Let me get this high enough we can see it. Did CEV, do we want to know where CEV12's soul originated? Yes. Can I have your permission, hun, to ask in your Akashic record about your soul group of origination? It can be a fun thing. It sort of gives us a pretty good ballpark idea of where you originated from. And, okay, I have your permission. Oh, I have a request for assistance. Can I ask what that's about real quick before we, well, don't ask yet. Don't ask yet. We're going to ask about the soul group first. Now that's really strange because it's giving that you might come from a part of that very race that I was describing, except for you being a part of it that is almost like, I thank the Holy Spirit. I could say it like this, like a hybrid, like it's like the vessel is somehow influencing the way the soul is experiencing who they are. And what I'd mention here is that soul group that I'm talking about, as I said, they're very heady, and they feel a little bit more, it's another way of experiencing emotions. They do not have the feelings that we often experience in earth life. They do notice emotions. They're not the same kind of emotions we have. Yet when you have come into this world on purpose to change something for the better or to change some awareness, essentially you're here to help change consciousness around some issues that are very troubling. And you wanted almost certainly to give yourself an opportunity to notice some of these issues in a personal way so that you could find the avenue, struggle through, and find the way to overcome them, and then become the change the world is looking for about those very issues. Okay, now, having that said, having that experience means you've come to notice feelings and emotions and beliefs that are a little bit different than your soul group originally incarnates as. So essentially, you might find yourself with a little bit of compassionate trust, um, drying out a little bit, drying your eyes, feeling, noticing a place where you get a little bit more, where the headspace is a very comfortable thing, and you don't drive yourself into the feelings like you have a responsibility to do it, because you've already noticed what you want to do to accomplish changing the things that were hurtful about those feelings, those experiences that caused those feelings, or made those feelings an experience you were having on purpose. That's a big jumble. I hope that's making sense. That's a whole lot of stuff. Do I check the thing now? The request for assistance. I do. I'm going to go ahead and check for what we were looking for assistance with real quick. It's an illusion in the, how I'd put it is, it's where you have the emotions that are coming with the human experience. It's not residing at a particular chakra. It's probably influencing yourself in a way that's not entirely about one chakra. It's probably influencing you a little bit more than that. Ah, yeah. Oh, this one. The illusion is you have to that you always take the bad with the good. You have bad things happen with good things, and you sort of just have. I'm going to put it lightly. You care enough to allow it to be that you can accept a significant percentage of unpleasant in order to have the pleasant, and you want to notice it like it's sort of a conditioned thought that doesn't really interest you. You want no one telling you you got to take the bad with the good. You want to actually tell yourself, I really think I can have just good. I don't have to conceive of it as there's always going to be some bad with the good. There's not necessarily going to be a dark cloud inside of that silver lining. Allowing yourself to think of it a little bit like that, where you're maybe challenging that, not challenging, you're getting rid of that illusion and letting yourself see it's not about who you are, it's about who you can become. And who you can become is somebody who really doesn't have to believe that good always means you got to take some bad with it. You could actually have good that's simply good. Okay, is there anything else in there right now? Nope, that was it. All right. Good night, Gina. I see you on your way out. Have a wonderful evening. Wonderful rest, dear. All right. And thank you so much for your question, CUB12. It was very interesting. Oh, and you did ask this part, let me see. Does it extend to your human family as well? Yeah, and also sometimes not really. We believe in our hearts that the reason that we get a human family is we get to come to a heavenly place where we get to cohabitate a little bit with beings of different origins that we become very friendly with or engaged with or caring about. And we get to love people who are vastly different than us. And we sometimes have family members that are really alien to us. I mean, most of us have some component of ourselves that's very different from the people that we're with. And almost everybody, if you dig deep enough, they've got it somewhere, unless they're an earther, in which case they're probably already working on things in a totally different way than I know how to handle. We don't tend to find a lot of earthers here. I thank the Holy Spirit, and I just ask you to trust me that you notice your people the right way, where you don't feel like they're anything other than the best thing for you to have encountered after a while. If you already love them dearly up and down and left and right, then you're really, really, really gifted at having a great idea with who you incarnate with and how you get to enjoy this celebration of existence. So, thank you, thank you. All right, Polly. Polly asked for a message from Spirit, please. I thank the Holy Spirit. I'm having a reason to get to a quiet place. It's a quiet place where I just want to hear grass grow. It feels like nighttime. It feels like a solitude, but a welcome one. Like something kind of cool and comforting in the air with you. I'm seeing stars in the sky, stars above. I'm letting myself notice this may kind of condition you a little bit to keeping in a mindset of feeling free to savor the peace and the quiet and the solitude wherever you have it. Ask yourself if you feel like having an astrology guide. It seems like we have a sense of purpose in mentioning there's an indication regarding astrology. I do not always, I can, I'll always do a chart if somebody asks. I don't really care to accomplish it unless it's something that is important to you. If you feel like that's something that would mean something to you, Polly, that it would be interesting and important, I could certainly accomplish it. And I do notice why we're in this quiet, peaceful place is maybe some reflection that we wanted to find. I'm feeling my heart. Polly, how do you feel about the, now we got the dogs talking. How would you feel about, I'm not going to ask you again. Just notice if you want to do any astrology, what you'd want to have is your birth time, place, and date. And anytime you want to talk about that, go ahead and let me know. I do know that how I'm feeling here is I'm just going to say I thank the Holy Spirit. And notice that what you really want is a little bit of peace and reflection. Not so much reflection. Actually, it's more about an adventurous feeling. I thought it was reflection. It's not. It's kind of this reclining at ease, feeling this peace, looking up at the stars, and imagining a destination that comes from within your heart. And we go there as soon as we care enough to stand up and get there. It is nice feeling. It is optimistic feeling. It is like there's that little bit of a spirited idea just wanting fruition and noticing a little bit after a short while how soon you get there. And we thank the Holy Spirit and we ask you to comment if you do want a reading on astrology. We'll see what we can arrange for that. So thank you for your question. Viviani. Let me see how to show this. There we go. Show it. Viviani says, may I have a message from Spirit Team and Holy Spirit? Thank you. I ask the Holy Spirit to guide, and I ask Jesus to assemble the Spirit Team, the guide team. Okay. All right. First thing I want to let you know, I think you do know, the first thing I want to acknowledge, as I'm looking, I'm seeing like a tremendous spiritual vista that is intricate. It's like if you see a game board for a just incredibly well designed game that's just drawn out extraordinarily well and clearly, and there's different parts that have different purposes, and it's really clever and insightful. There's this spread of a spiritual realm, spiritual inhabitation that you are comprised of. And it seems like you have many, many, many aspects available to you or that you're familiar with. And I feel like some of it is asking you to learn about it a little bit more and still see the other stuff. I mean, still notice, I've already looked at that, I've already looked at that, that's there, that's there. But there's something that wants to be heard a little more. And we care about whether it is important to notice what it is. I thank the Holy Spirit. I keep hearing card or cards. Yep. Yes. Midra? No, that is for Viviani. Are you accomplished with how much? I'm not going to ask all that. I thank you, Holy Spirit. I think there's a realm of reason for you to examine something to do with some particular cardomancy, card magic, card spiritual divination, exploration, examination. I get the feeling that there's more there than I am able to encompass in the brief spell that we have here today. I do want you to acknowledge in your heart if there is some reason to look into it like it's a meaningful experience for you. I don't know. It's not like you don't have knowledge. It's like there's a realm. I see it. There's that flat plane with all these very interesting, intricate spiritual disciplines on them. And then there's this place that I think is being looked at right now. And I don't know whether or not this is exactly the best way to accomplish what we're getting at, but it seems like we're looking at something. I thank you, Holy Spirit. It's like a platform that comes up a little bit above the playground of spiritual experiences. It comes up a little bit above, and it's got this feeling to it of I'm getting to really delve into something in a new way. And it does get very, 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 very cool. And we could tell you that we have a little hint there to do with the Akashic. I don't know much about what the cards, how the cards relate to the Akashic, but it could be about having a connection or a connected feeling, about divining interesting notions from through the Akashic records or through the Akashic library that you can bring in through the use of cards. I do not know any more than that. All right. I thank the Holy Spirit and thank you for your question. Now I think this is Pram. And the question is, do my guides have any messages for me? I thank the Holy Spirit. I ask the Holy Spirit to guide. I ask Jesus to help with the guide team. Interesting. I do not know why I'm looking at this, but I'm actually seeing a guide who's showing up in a costume like the Portland Frog. I don't know exactly what that is about, but the Portland Frog, I'm not understanding who's aware of it and who isn't. But the Portland Frog is someone, it's a lot of someone's. It's like an inflatable frog costume that some people put on to sort of stand up to tyranny. And their their shield is an inflatable costume. And it feels, I don't know why, but it feels kind of important to acknowledge that this is a silly feeling, and it feels a little friendly and kind of like it wants to be a guide who's playing like a kid who is saying, I will stare down the scary ones without being afraid at all. And I will stare them down, and I will stand my ground, and I will feel perfectly invulnerable in my little leapy frog costume. And I will feel that way because I haven't got to be scared of anything. And I fail to see the point of anything further being expressed. This is simple and clear. Feel all you can say is there's a childlike energy of feeling very safe, protected, and also glaring down the mean ones. And I thank the Holy Spirit. We want to just mention also, put in your heart that this has to do with being a caring, silly feeling. It's a caring, silly feeling because you don't get to be afraid. You don't get to be frightened. It's more like a kid who wants to play and feel very safe, standing their ground against scary things. So, no afraid and feeling happy, playful, and strong and brave. That's what that is. Venus, I did not see your question. Thank you for pointing it out. Let me go back. Let me try to go back. We succeed in going back. We don't try. We succeed. Still looking. Oh, hi, BD. I've got your question now. I didn't see it earlier. Well, I need two heads. Wait, is that it? No, no. Yes, I see it now. All right. Got it. Bora Bora, thank you so much for the reminder and thank you for encouraging people and being an awesome friend. Pram, you're welcome. Let me put that up. There you go. Thank you for that. All right. And all right. I hope I've caught everybody. All right. I did that one. I did that one. I did that one. And now I'm here. Venus, hi. Venus says, may I hear a message from Spirit? Thank you. I ask the Holy Spirit to guide. I thank Jesus for any guidance as well. And I thank the Holy Spirit. There's a little presence that is not all that lovely. It's not a nice one. Let me clear that first. It may be coming just, I don't know what that was yet, Venus. Give me just a moment. There was something I didn't enjoy that doesn't belong in a reading here. So we're going to do a little sage. I ask the Holy Spirit to help this sage be very, very effective in clearing. I'm going to see what being was being here. I'm giving it a label. I'm calling it disruption. It's a harsh energy. It's a very, gosh, it's got some very nasty qualities. I thank the Holy Spirit. The word is, it's sort of twisted and it's got a feeling of being called out or caught. And it's not something that we wanted to have present. So we're going to ask, did this come through because of something that we need to know for Venus's sake? Yes. I thank the Holy Spirit. Yes, yes, yes. It is not a demon. It is a presence that feels like it sort of could be called almost like a little imp that pretends to be a good idea, and it's less of a good idea than anyone would ever think. It's not really so much scary. It's like a little thing that comes in and behaves as if it's going to assist, and then it doesn't assist. We are now requiring this being to be surrounded by love and light and prevented from having any interaction whatsoever, come hell or high water, with Venus or any other being of the light for the entire duration of our existences. And we do ask for the appropriate escort to ensure this being is taken where it belongs. And I thank the Holy Spirit. Now we're going to go ahead and let it be that we can see through what that was trying to block. I can't tell yet if this is like, I'm seeing squares. They look almost like hopscotch squares. They're colorful, like pastel colors. There's a playful energy kind of brought to mind with this. It's like, I feel like what it wants to be expressed as is there is a kid who wants to play, who feels like life is full of this disruption of the heart that wants to be safe and free and innocent and playful and trusting and loving and safe. And we feel like this is not a distress today, yet it has become perhaps a little bit more of a concern before than it needed to be. And we care enough to inform you, to remind you, it's hard to notice if we're picking things up that don't belong with us. But sometimes we do it without even quite understanding we've adopted a new friend who's not really friendly. And I could inform you that we do this a little bit more when we start to explore spiritual realms, in that we don't always notice that it's a really freely helping you now. A really good idea to tell you this. If a being is coming to be of some assistance in any way, you want to ask it a handful of questions to determine who it is. Now, I like to say, did Jesus Christ come in the flesh? This is one that was handed down. It was given to us through Christian teaching. And I find that it helps some to notice who can't answer that. With the affirmative is generally going to be somebody who is not permitted to. If they're not permitted to, you might say they've already been identified as not very nice, and so they're not allowed to engage with you once you ask them that. You say, well, go away then, if they answer no. If they answer affirmative, almost always you're in good shape. They're not always comprehensible, and they're not always easy to negotiate with. They sometimes have very high standards in their way of seeing things, but they're at least coming from a heartfelt place where they've been approved of to share interaction with us from a place we want them to be approved of. So I could guess that somehow we picked this little imp, this little being up, and I thank the Holy Spirit. The playful idea is what we want to focus on. We're not going to go on a rant about all those beings. We're going to stay on the playful idea. You went on a date, oh, and he turned out to be awful. Are you kidding? I wonder if that had to do with that. September's first time in 5 years. It turned out to be awful. I don't know. Did he ruin play? Did he make it be like you didn't want to play after that? Because we want you to enjoy this. We're loving this feeling of that hopscotch, that idea of I get to play, I get to feel safe, innocent, and I definitely have recreation time to enjoy myself. That's what we really want you to notice, what we want you to feel. And I don't mean it like you don't have a choice about it. Lied about his age, about where he's from, where he lives, everything. Well, I don't blame you for not continuing with him. I'm sure you didn't. Not a good idea to not a good idea to let you down. That one. Not a good idea to let you down. He cost himself something he really could have enjoyed if he had been worth it. But I'm glad that you got away from it. And I want you to remember that as soon as we got disruption out of the way, the idea that came forward is safe, play. Safe, childlike innocence. Sharing a feeling of hopscotch tends to not be a very solitary thing. It means you get to play with somebody else, you get to play with others. So feel like you're being reminded, called to exhibit the play energy and feel like it's a collaboration, a collaborative play with someone else, maybe more someone's. In other words, have a good time. Don't feel like you want to stay away from that activity, and give yourself a chance to notice that disruption is less. And whenever you feel anything to do with it again, remind yourself that that has been banned, that it was sent, that it was taken away from you. It was treated well, but it was treated as kindly as possible, but it was taken away from you. And you might have some poorly trained thoughts or poorly trained instincts from being associating with it, and just tell yourself, oh, I don't do that anymore. That's just bad training. I'm retraining to go play, go have a good time. And that's about what we have for you today, Venus. Thank you so much. I thank the Holy Spirit. We do give you a hand. You want to get out there again. There. All right. And this is the last one I have marked. And I thank the Holy Spirit. Venus, get out there. Get out there and have a good time. Get out there. Yeah. I think there might be a reason to prod that, push that maybe a little bit more soon. You're welcome, love. BD. BD says, will I be able to find the thing I need regarding work? I thank the Holy Spirit. I ask the Holy Spirit to guide. I thank the Holy Spirit. I'm getting a no right now. BD, are you here right now? I'd like to see what we're looking at a little bit better, so maybe I can help with whatever's going on here. Hi, Pram. I see you're still here, hon. Did we talk to you, or did we get this already? We did, yes. But BD, where did you go? And I already lost your question here. We're looking for the thing regarding work. And I just made the mistake of unstarring that question, so now I don't know if I can find it again. Where did it go? We will look for that. There you are here. Okay, BD, can you let me ask then the Holy Spirit, how do we assist then? I ask Jesus to guide me to where BD is able to get a handle on what's going on. Are you having a feeling that you like having with work at the work that you're doing? I hope you're able to feel what I'm talking about. It's as simple as, do you like the work you're doing, the work you're accomplishing? There are some notes you're looking for. Okay. I thank the Holy Spirit. That is what we can do. I'm getting a really weird feeling about this because my instinct is to show you that you want to do that. You want to locate these notes. And I have a heart for anyone who's looking for something and they're not really thinking it's going to be clear and easy to find it. I put the clarity in my mind. I am not sure what's going on. I'm so sorry. There is definitely a little bit of a cloud of confusion here. Let me get a little bit of clarity. I thank the Holy Spirit. You will want to notice what your notes are about. You will want to be a very clear, conscious soul. And it's okay to notice it's not a big deal, but sometimes things get set aside because we have a higher aspect asking us to look at things a different way. Trust that you like what you're doing or you don't do it. We don't know why we're expressing it so much, but we have a very strong, very hinting reservation about what's going on that lets us notice that maybe there's something perhaps significant for your story and how this will play out. I do not know if there's more I can clarify about this, but I thank the Holy Spirit. We're just letting you understand. We notice there's something to do with anything more I can say would be me trying to guess. The Holy Spirit kind of noticed something in the notes, something towards the notes that wasn't a dream, a good idea, a happy thing. I don't understand it, my friend. I do only give what I have. What's the significant thing? I thank you, Holy Spirit. It is something akin to choices we make that are important to our well-being. If I have more information or insight, BD, I will tell you I don't know anything more right now. And it seems like I'm ready to notice why, but I thank the Holy Spirit. I thank you all for being present here today. I do sometimes want to answer everything so thoroughly nobody has any question left, but we can't do that all the time. We can't, frankly, have that way all the time. I do wish I had a little better understanding of why, but there is a purpose sometimes in letting people discover and come to their own understanding about things that I can only give a few words, and I'm not given a comprehension of why. I do hope you know what the higher aspect is wanting you to notice, BD, and I praise Jesus and thank you for your presence here. And have I got any last questions? I think I've got everything that I starred. And I thank you all so much for coming today. I do want to mention that if we do the 2 shows next week, Valerie and I will approve of all of you showing up and having a great time with us. We do have a little bit to accomplish before we cover the new moon. So we'll like seeing you all again. And we'll have a really great idea about how to trust that you want to hear everything we have to say when it comes to the exciting news that'll be happening soon. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I was told to say that too. All right. I love you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we'll talk later. Bye.